This episode of The Devinwade Show is brought to you by Ace the Engineer, the only other audio engineer I trust to mix The Devinwade Show. If you want your stuff to sound professional, make sure to hit up Ace the Engineer, unless he's with like Beyonce or Patti LaBelle or some shit like that at the moment. Follow Ace the Engineer on IG at Ace the Engineer.
Dev Nasty!
What up? Welcome to an all-new episode of the Devinwade Show. I am your host, Dev Nasty, a.k.a. Dangerous Dev Nasty, a.k.a. Choke Your Mom Out, a.k.a. Choke Your Pop Out. And today we're going to get into, we always try to get to some fun because if you know our show is real silly. We do a lot of playing around, but we do have to tackle important things when they happen, especially when something happens close to home. So before we get into what we're talking about today, though, to the left of me.
You already know it's your girl, Walesca D, the fashionista, the fashion killer, the fashion classic female. I mean, I'm just all the things fashion.
Yeah, everything. Expensive shoes on right now, all of that. She lit.
Everything, you know.
Heavy.
And to the left of me.
Y'all already know what it is, man. It's your boy, man. It's Double P. Today I'm on a positive vibe, so we going with positive Porta. Peaceful Porta. I'm on my peaceful vibes, you know what I'm saying? And then rest in peace, Nipsey. I'm also on some prolific shit. We gotta, you know what I mean?
Okay. And of course, also to the left of me, we got the nasty girl.
Sin Titty. I've been dying to do that. You know, I got my little one piece on, and the last time I wore this, my body wasn't as right at you.
But now it's what?
But now it's right at you. It's giving body yaddy yaddy.
Yeah, she ready to show
Wait, hold
off
on.
now. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on.
We get.
All right. It's giving caramel sin. It's giving.
We're gonna get a Crown Fried commercial. That's center breast sin.
Dark meat.
And of course, we got the mixed mud with the big boo.
What's up? It's your favorite mulatto Monica, and we are at the Devinwade Show.
Listen, man, but listen, we all from the Philadelphia area, Camden, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, all of that. And we took a major loss last week. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to PNB ROCK was gunned down in LA at a Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles over nothing, man, in a robbery attempt. And a lot of things is going on in the culture where a lot of our rappers, our entertainers are going out early to gun violence. You know what I'm saying? We living in a time where, when I was younger, we saw what happened to Pac and Biggie. But other than that, it wasn't as many. Like in the mainstream, you would hear about people, that were not as popular sometimes. But now my son grows up in a time where so many of his favorite rappers, not only does he, see their, know that they died, he sees their last moments and stuff like that. And we just here to, have a discussion about this and the, how it desensitizes, our kids and stuff like that, man, in these situations.
I think like it's crazy because we done had, we talked about it, Dev, and I said we done had these conversations already, talking about violence amongst our own people, just where we've allowed it to go. I say I'm part of it, right? I come from the hood. I've been in gang circles. I was in gangs before like Bloods and Crips hit this area. It was gangs out here. I was in gangs as a juvenile, right? So we talk about like kind of like how we've allowed it to get to this point. And it's crazy because since the thing, rest in peace to PNB ROCK, prayers to his family, to his little brother Mean, everybody on that side. It's super tragic, man. It's super hurtful, right? For me, for one, to just know that, from what I know of PNB ROCK, he was a good guy, wasn't in no whole bunch of bulls crap, the music we deal with, rap music, a lot of the rap music stems from like our lifestyle, culture in inner cities. So yeah, the music always comes.
It's going to have a certain depiction in there because that's what everybody from.
Absolutely. That entertainment just comes that way, right? But I don't feel, and I'll never agree with that, you know, because we do this style of entertainment, it almost like green lights and warrants for us to be able to go ahead and live it out for real and just take it and almost like make it worse, right?
I'm sorry, bro. Can I jump in?
Go ahead.
I feel like what Porter is saying is almost like people feel like if you do music, if you from the streets, you from the hood, and you do music that represents the hood or tells stories of the hood, that it is acceptable. You're out there to be harmed. You're basically on the menu to people. You know what I mean? If you know, as a lot of excuses made, oftentimes in this situation, you know, I saw a lot of what people would call victim blaming.
Right.
And it would be, come on, you know not to wear that chain out there. You know not to go here and go there.
No, he's a person, and if he wants to step outside, that does not mean, hey, I feel like dying today because I decided to go sit down in a restaurant and enjoy my meal.
I mean, listen,
ridiculous.
don't get me wrong, right? Because a lot of great minds have already spoken on this.
Right.
I listened to Charlemagne, envying them. They went in, broke down some stuff. They spoke on some things, and everything that people are saying makes sense, right?
Absolutely.
But what I want to get to is, why are we allowing it? Why are we allowing this to become normal? And why are we so quick to just be okay with it, right? Why don't we try to find a resolution? Because basically, I do understand when people are painting these pictures like, hey, if you successful and you know that in this community is close to this neighborhood, this is what they got going on here, right? So if you're successful and you're Black, you're actually the same color of the people who's going through these things here. And this is why I don't want to we can't just go all, I understand it, but we can't just go all crazy on like, you know, PNB Rock, God bless his soul, for wanting to go eat in a community that's where he's from. People like him. We're not supposed to hurt one another.
Yeah, because that's an important thing that you just said. Even though he's not from LA, what people are talking about is their comfort with their people.
Right.
The fact that it's like, yo, I'm in the hood. I represent the hood. I'm out here with my family. I'm with my lady. I'm you know, it's one thing you get ridiculed if you're afraid to walk amongst the people, but then when you walk amongst the people, this is the things that happen.
I mean, let's look at the flip side, right? Everybody, I guess, is saying that he should have been in some more upscale where I guess the white people, the more non-colored people go to dine and stuff like that. Like we don't go through shit in them places.
No, bad.
Like we don't
anywhere.
Like we don't get stereotyped in those restaurants,
Right.
and we don't get flack in those restaurants. This is why some people go to the hood. At the same time, this is why we gotta watch what we say. And don't get me wrong, I'm not taking no stabs or shots at anybody because this ain't a competition. This ain't about me being a better speaker than you. This is about us speaking collectively and trying to find a resolution. You get what I'm saying? But like in the same talk, in the same voice, and in the same speech, we say a lot. When are we gonna start supporting our own?
Right.
When are we gonna be able to go to our own establishments and eat at our own establishments and support our own people so our people can come up?
And be safe.
But then soon as we do, right? And I get it that this was on the West Coast. I get it. Listen, shout to the West Coast guys. I get it. They came up different. It's different over there. Gang violence, gang life is different. I get it. But that's not an excuse.
Well, it's not. But it's because you got to think about it too, though, because it's not like they're killing him for gang violence. In regards to him being a part of a gang,
they did it.
They're killing him because they want to take something that he worked hard for and he owns. They want to take it from him and then kill him for having those things that he has. So it's not like, you know, it's a situation where, okay, when there's certain rules and you're a gang member, and you're a part of a neighborhood, that's a little bit different because you know better, right? But in this instance, that's not the case.
Right. Where's the organization, the honor? We hear about so much of this honor stuff with the streets. And y'all know, I'm super outspoken on it. You already know how I feel about all this kind of stuff. It's crazy to me. It doesn't make any sense. And sometimes situations like this are eye openers where I start seeing other people at least get the feeling I get for a moment. But I don't want the moment to be fleeting, where you get it for a moment and then in 5 days,
right,
it's over and you back to thinking the way you were. If this is an organized thing, it's like, yo, if this was if it's gangs and things, once you find out a person is from, he's from Philly, they don't come up off that. That should be off the table immediately.
Right. That shouldn't even be a conversation.
I don't feel like anybody should be on the table, but I'm saying even in those cases, it should be off the table. It's like, if I'm a boxer, I'm not going around just punching random people. We fighting with boxers. So in this situation where you see somebody out, and it's just so much hatred in people. They see him out with a beautiful woman. You know what I'm saying? They see this man out, he got some jewelry on. What are you going...
Are you saying where's the gangster's morals or code at?
So what I'm saying is, people often when they speak about the streets, they brag about their morals. They'll say, like, I was raised by these kind of people. We from the streets. We grew up off morals and codes and this and that. Well, where is the fucking morals and codes when people are doing these things, regardless, even pulling a gun out and robbing somebody, even if they didn't kill them, with a family right there with a man, woman, and they kid.
Exactly.
You ain't even supposed to, ain't no pistol supposed to even be pulled out amongst families. Because in them situations, a man fight for himself, them bullets is going anywhere. Anybody can get shot.
A lot of people from communities like ours, right? Again, I come up around this shit, man. I was in gangs, man. I've sat in gang circles with other gangs, different gangs, and I won't get into no details out of respect for people, but I've sat in these situations, and even when I got older and I was in these situations, I decided against it. I walked out of a circle and I declined. I said, I'd rather pass. I'm sorry. I respect what y'all doing. I respect everybody here. I'd rather pass. The person who was in charge at that time in the jail that I was in, they respected it. They came to me later with high respect. Like, yo, you young and you know what you want to do. And the reason I declined, right, is because I believe in them gangs. And we don't even know if this was a gang member as a bitch far. But because so many people say, yes, the West Coast is ran by gangs, and these are gangs that have certain locations where they pinpoint people and squat on people, whatever the case. So we're going to kind of like discuss it, just discuss it a little bit. But I knew that in these gangs, there was like actually thorough people that this was their lifestyle, right? They chose this lifestyle fit them, who they were, right? Because they was already doing whatever they was doing in their cities, right? And bumping and living whatever type of life they was living. But then I also knew that in these same gang situations, you got a lot of people that get in there for the wrong reasons. You got a lot of people that get in this stuff for like help, for like protection, because they know that they soft and they really can't stand on their own. You got some dudes that's in it not because of that, because they actually thorough and they fight whoever, they live the lifestyle. So it's different. And my whole thing is like, it's like Dev said, it's not about morals and codes though. It's just about like, I always felt like the gangs from our community and the hood guys that's just doing a different lifestyle, they chose a different lifestyle, it's a different path, but they still us. They are cousins. They are brothers. These are people's cousins and brothers in these communities, right? We always thought that these guys are with us. They're on our side. If something was to ever hit the fan, people talking about, it's talks around the world right now about back to slavery. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying go feed into everything that's going on the internet with all this new stuff they putting up. I'm telling you, look into stuff and research stuff, because I think some people do jump off the cliff when they hear something. But just to hear that, right? Just to hear that, and just to think, if it was a reality and if it was ever to happen and people ever attempted that, right? Crips and Bloods and Latin Kings and these gangs and that gang and this gang, there's people just like us. Our people. Are you with us? Are you guys with us? Because I be feeling like, at this point right now, how we feel, right? Everybody's saying you can't go to the hood. You can't go to, and they just saying in LA. Well, let me tell you something, right? Philly no different. South Street, right behind South Street is South Philly. If you go in certain places in Philly, if you go to Noto and shit like that, them Philly guys, they know that shit. They know that whole shit. And let me tell somebody, I got respect for the West Coast. I got respect for the East Coast. I got respect for the South. I got respect for everybody. But everybody deserves that respect. Philly ain't no suckers. Philly ain't got nothing but pain going on over there. They trying to fix their own pain right now.
Right.
So my whole thing is like, where does this go? Where does this go? Because I don't think this helps our celebrities and our people who are doing things that's from different areas and have to visit different areas to try to go ahead and feed their family, make opportunities for others, right? And we got dope relationships. You got people like Meek, who's a young OG from Philadelphia, who got good relationships with guys like YG. On the West Coast, they've done things. You see them interacting. I pray and hope that these people, can possibly get on the phone. And the leaders can get on the phone, because I feel like shit
That's
like
what I'm
this.
saying.
I feel like shit like this go places.
Yeah.
And people don't talk about it because Philly is hurting. Philly is hurting.
I think it starts with the leaders. I think that there's a lot of people, like, I think the leaders have like the moral set, and then the people underneath them start running rampant, and they need to snap their people back in place, basically.
So hold on, I want to say something. This is what I think, Monica. I think it's only an illusion of leadership. That's what I think. I think that people of our culture took on, and me and GB from Talk Heavy, we had to talk about this morning. I think that people took on this like mob culture and everything involved in it, all the rules, ratting and no snitching and this, that, and the third, but that was organized crime. And GB, he talked about people being selective with the things that they wanted to take from it. Like, all right, let's take the no ratting part and this, but there isn't really respect for the hierarchy. It looks like it's there, but it's a lot of people running around doing their own thing. And that's why, when we grew up in this East Coast, West Coast thing, I don't even think that that's a thing with this, because this is an individual or two individual or whoever that committed this act. And it's just the way it looks, because people went out there and didn't return home. And I don't think people understand how people feel in this Philadelphia area when, you grow up in the code, you grow up in the hood, you grow up, and it's like a dream to make it to the place one day where you could go to sunny California with palm trees and be successful and have a woman with you and, make music, and to escape here where people is dying every day.
And in broad daylight, too. That's crazy. If you think about Triple X, if you think about PNB, if you think about Young Dolph, they were all just living their life in broad daylight, eating food, buying cookies, buying a car, doing whatever they wanted to do. And to be gunned down in the middle of broad daylight.
That's the same thing that happened to Nipsey in his own neighborhood.
In his own neighborhood.
And then look at the flip side to it, right? Because Ahmaud Arbery was a black guy just walking through a white neighborhood,
I feel
right?
like, yeah.
Where they said he shouldn't have been. He had that's how the white people felt where he was walking through.
So where can black people be?
Where can we be?
If he wasn't who he was, though, and he was walking in that neighborhood, would that have happened, though?
But that's what he's saying. He's saying at this point, for a black man, where can you go?
Yeah, where can we go?
Where you go? Because it's like, you go to this nice place and you got to worry about racist.
Yep.
You go to these other places, you got to worry about people that would never touch a racist.
Was that place specifically overly racist, though?
What place?
The place that he died at?
Well, but the thing is, you talking about who?
He's talking about
yeah, but you got to think when I'm naming any of these people, I want to make sure we clear. Ahmaud Arbery's situation could have been any person that died in that circumstance,
right?
The famous names and unfamous, and the same thing when it comes to Rock and what happened to Rock out there. The bottom line is, if a black man is in a position where it's like, if I go to these nice neighborhoods, they don't want me there.
Absolutely.
This can happen to me there. I'm in the wrong place.
Absolutely.
And if I go to these black areas where I'm not raised or whatever, shit. But this the thing. This the crazy part.
I'm a target.
This the crazy part. You a target in the one where you not raised at, and the one you was raised in, they telling you to escape from that because you made something of yourself and you live here.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like, damn, I'm doing well. and I can't be in my neighborhood no more because I'm doing well. Where the fuck do I go? Now, if I go out to this neighborhood, it's some things that could happen to me there with police, with with neighbors, things like that. If I go to black areas somewhere else, oh boy, not from here, he a lick. And we can't even get into the whole police part. That's a different subject, and the racist part.
Right.
What it's saying is we have to make sure that where we are in our communities is safe first. And for me, I believe it starts with a mindset. I'm at the point, and I've been to this point, but I'm at the point of explaining y'all, I don't give a fuck how you was raised up. I don't give a fuck what your OG taught you. You have to face the fact that maybe the people that raised you was wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe the area that you grew up in is fucked up.
A whole part of growing up is remembering all the things that you're taught and
unlearning.
relearning.
I want to be clear. Unlearning. I don't want to skip over no points here when we talking about black and brown people and what's going on in our communities and how people kind of want to have their foot. And I'm talking about everybody, from the gangster to the people that's not, that have these certain rules and mindsets. You want like one foot in the clean water, one foot in the mud, and it just don't work like that. If you got one dirty foot, you dirty, right? That's how it is. So at the same time, we have to figure out what we want as a people. I know what I want, but what do we want? So when something happens to a celebrity, I've seen a lot of things, people saying yesterday, I hope they catch whoever did this. Do they got surveillance, this, that, and the third? You know what? I don't have a problem with that mindset, right? At all. Everybody's saying we want to find out who did this. But that shouldn't be the energy with just our celebrities, because if it's a week ago and Rodney Smith from up the block, this happened to him.
Right.
People like, oh, niggas is snitching.
Where's that same energy?
Yeah, no, niggas is snitching. What I'm saying is, so I'm not, don't get this twisted. When we say where's the same energy, this the energy I want. I want to be clear, Dev. I'm cool with this energy.
Man, listen, let me tell you something. I come from the streets, right? I come from the streets where that snitching and all that shit come from. And to be honest, the only people that shit benefiting is the street motherfuckers that wanted to benefit them. And if you out here and you gonna kill us, you out here killing your own motherfucking people, and then the only thing you could turn around and say is like, oh, that's snitching. Don't tell. You just took a good motherfucking life for nothing.
Nothing.
Like we got snitching came from when me and you agreed to do a crime together. And then we both got caught. And I said, I'm going to turn you in and say you did it all. Or be the first one to say what really happened so I could get myself some less time. It was when two people actually was involved together. Like, this life that we trying to normalize shouldn't be normalized. Like, look, here's a couple words from a verse from Game from 07 that resurfaced, right? And shout out to the Game, because I applaud him for speaking on this and trying to make sure that people are aware of these type of things, right? He said in the rap from 2007, the Game said, today there's been 10 murders in South Central alone. The boys in the hood said Cube been gone too long. So take my advice. I'm talking to all rappers. When you eat at Roscoe's, watch out for the chain snatchers. Take it off slow or you might get killed.
Wow.
That's crazy.
This is from 2007, a verse from a record from the Game, a West Coast rapper. Again, shout to him for putting the information out there to try to like make people aware of it. But how are we normalizing this? Who are the OGs? Who are the triple OGs? Again, I come from it. I'm from Camden, New Jersey. I know all the heavy hitters from my city. I was either raised by them or ran with them. Heavy, never told. I got over 17 years in the system under my belt, never told. So I got the right to talk like this and say, where the leaders at? Because if I was out here, let's say I would have became a Crip out here, or a Blood out here, or a Latin King out here, I would have been saying, what is we doing?
How about this? Very plain and simple. The leaders shouldn't be gangs. The leaders shouldn't be gang members. Your OGs, the people that you look up to, shouldn't be people in a set. There's a lot of different things in life that you could be. I'm talking to all people. So for real, the moral compass isn't there. We've gotten to a point now where we know that the moral compass is not in that world.
Right.
I don't even care about the levels of who, this person did this one and this person stood tall and all that. I'm like, man, you know what, man, fine. In that world, fine, whatever. The bottom line is people shouldn't be killing each other. It shouldn't be this situation at all. It's not about hunger when you shoot a nigga over a $100,000 chain in front of his lady or who, or whoever. Like certain these situations. Let's talk about, you just said game, right? People want to know. Like, I want anybody that's watching this live right now in the comments, you would want the killers of PNB Rock to be caught, is what you think, right? Now, some people feel like yes, but they scared to put that because it's uncool to say that you wish somebody went to jail. And this is where the shit gets, where it gets difficult with people because they scared to, they want to pretend that they okay with something that they're not. At the end of the day, if that was your girlfriend in there, if the shooting went a certain way and he defended himself and the gun went off and hit your mom in the head, hit your daughter in the head, you would be like, no, I want justice, right? You know what I'm saying? So let's say the game was to find out, this is all fictitious. The game was to find out who did the murder. And he said, yo, this shit ain't right. Johnny John and Timmy Tim is the ones that did that murder.
Right.
Then what happens? Everybody called him a rat. Oh, nigga, I thought you was gangster. He done told. He a bitch. We ain't buying his album.
Or he gonna have a target on his head.
So, but all in all,
because of some code that was made for us to believe.
For our own destruction.
I was gonna say own demise.
So what I'm saying is we keep going in this circle, and I've been out that circle since the beginning of my life. I sat and watched everybody go down, circle this drain, and then, so you circle in the drain, right? You know when you pour water in, you got it in the sink, some things circle around the drain and you watch certain shit go down. I watch friends, family members, different people go down the drain. And then I'm like, fuck that. I don't even want to be in the whirlpool, right? So I back up out of it. I'm up on the top of the sink now. And I'm telling everybody, that whirlpool down there is what's wrong. You gotta get out of that. This mindset right here ain't right. So when I just asked us a clear question, and we used the game because the game was brought up, and he's a big rap figure over there.
Right.
If the game did that, would y'all stop buying his albums because he's a rat now? Because he did that? Why is this our culture? We talk shit about other people and everything they're doing in their culture, and they don't gotta worry about this and they don't gotta worry about that, but they also don't subscribe to the things we subscribe to.
Look what happens, right? Pharrell, everybody went up in an uproar. Everybody was distraught when Pharrell said, I'm calling the police on anything that even looks suspicious. I'm not from the streets. I don't care about the street rules. I'm calling police. Everybody was in an uproar like, oh, he's soft. He ain't supposed to say that like that. And this comes from the toxic shit that Dev talking about and thinking about. But yet, we got a PNB Rock, God bless his soul, that said, I'm going to go past this black neighborhood, black establishment, people just like me, where I should be cool. I feel cool. I'm good. We're going to eat. We're going to slide, go shopping, right? And people did what they did. It's like, so, and your own people, 9 times out of 10, this was your own people. Like Sin said, a list came out of rappers. I think, shout to Gully TV. Gully TV put out a list of rappers. It had to be about 30 names on there in the last 36 months.
Salute Gully.
That a lot of that violence, a lot of those situations came from our own black on black crimes. But then we'll say, if an artist go hire police or, to do security and don't put the guns in his homie's hands and all like that's the wrong way to, no, that's the right way to do it.
Listen, you just brought up a topic That's something people get clowned for. This goes back to what I said. What I'm always here is something called doublethink. Doublethink is when people believe like two things at once and that don't make sense with each other. And people get so caught up in that they don't even realize they believe two things that contrast itself. So when the brother dies, they say, man, why he ain't have security with him? You supposed to have higher security. But then if he got higher security man, he moving around with cops and Navy SEALs. This nigga a bitch.
Exactly.
You believe both things at once. It's crazy. It makes no sense. And it's the same way with anything with his girl. I'm watching people believe that Empire got him killed in a hit. But they also believe that his girlfriend set him up.
Which is horrible.
Which is a horrible thing that even if you think that,
she's got to hold that on her conscience for the rest of her life.
You don't got no rights. I mean, you got the right because it's free speech, but just thinking about it as a person, if I go out one night and it's me and Richie, and we go ride somewhere, and something happened to me, and then somebody try to say, man, Richie lined him. This my real friend. He the one that, like some of y'all that will be saying some shit like that don't even know me.
Right.
Y'all got an opinion on something and then judge a person that's really involved, a person that's really affected by what happens, and try to put that person to blame. That's wild. That don't benefit him. If you love that man, love his music, respect him, you respect even his baby mother if you respect this child.
You don't sit there and go under her comments or her, on her page. I mean, granted, she deactivated her page, rightfully so.
As you should.
And the crazy thing is she just got back on Instagram. She literally just got back on Instagram, and she's the unfortunate part with all this is that we understand now the luxury of all of this is privacy, right? Privacy is luxury right now. Because we do post everywhere we go, everything we do. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't, be killed or sought after being in a place while I'm just trying to eat and chill with my significant other.
How often do we go out and go live? Monica know for a fact. How much do I hate live? I get like
I had to get off because I was in the car and I'm like, I can't bring the live in here because
I get annoyed with live. It's part of the like old man in me. Mm-hmm. And it's a smaller portion of it that is the location part. Mm-hmm. I don't really be thinking about that as much, but that is one of the things. But a person should be able to do that. Mm-hmm. A person should be able to do that. And we don't even know as of yet. Maybe by the time this gets to y'all, there's other developments because this does have to get edited down and put out. But and there'll be new developments, but you don't know if a location did that. It's those type of things. People watch people all day.
Yeah. Just assume they could have been following him. And he didn't even recognize. I mean, at the end of the day,
the police chief didn't make it any better. Whoever was saying that it contributed to that because he did say that we think it's because
they don't got, you know why?
But he's feeding the people that are like, oh my gosh,
see, when they have a press conference, the niggas got to come with some kind of explanation.
Have to say something,
so if they ain't got shit, if they got squat,
and that's all they have,
they got to come with we believe this or that. So it's like, oh yeah, well, they should say thanks to Detective Instagram.
Yeah, but it's terrible because it's not even a fact. It's not a fact.
It's not. Well, that's why they say we think.
But people in their heads are just like, oh, that's it. That's what happened. People don't do
and hold on, and real quick, you know how many times I'm out eating with my girl or family members, and they go live or they post up a joint. So if something happens to me, all of a sudden it's their fault. Y'all gotta really stop, because what happens is this goes back with something I was trying to say earlier. Is the victim blaming part. The only person in the wrong is the person that killed them.
Exactly.
If a woman with a crazy body goes jogging in the dark in a park,
right?
You don't say, man, she shouldn't have them big ass titties out in the park. What she think was going to happen? Niggas want fuck.
That
Right.
actually really happened.
But
though.
what I'm saying, but the mindset that a person would say,
That's
you
real.
obviously you want to go outside with a fat ass. I mean, niggas want to fuck. That's the
Right.
exact equivalent.
And the minute that we accept that, which it seems like what we're doing, right? Why are you going in these neighborhoods with stuff like this, with your jewelry, if you're successful, if you made it, if you got a good job, you eating, you're doing whatever, you figured it out. Why are you going here? Why are you going there? It goes back to what we're saying. What are we building? Where are we going? And where are we gonna be? Because in a lot of these white places and these high upscale sophisticated places and neighborhoods, I just was talking to a parent. You know, I work with the kids. I work in the school system. So I was just talking with a parent that had to remove her child out of a school, tried to take her child to put her in a so-called better education area, better school, all that stuff. And what did she run into? Racism, right from the door. She bounced right back here, brought her child right back here because she don't want her child to deal with none of that. So my whole thing is like, going back to this, we deal with that. Our celebrities get stereotyped in restaurants. We get weird treatment. We seen just not too long ago Jim Jones and them and whatever they was at, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, whatever, they had to leave one and go to the other. Like, where are we going and what are we doing? Because once everybody is okay and fine with just saying, look, the gangs is who they, not even just the gangs, right? Because this ain't just about gangs. We got people who violent people that's not in gangs. That's just from inner cities. They grew up there, they born there, they 550 neutral. And they on all BS, right? So where are we going as a people, period,
Can we talk about this, though? Like, you really don't think that the victim is, like, in these situations, you don't think they're to blame at all?
No.
No, absolutely
Are you serious?
not.
Yeah.
Because we are supposed to be careful. We aren't supposed to be going out after
Monica.
dark because there are people like that. Kids are not supposed to talk to strangers because there's people out there that will
Monica,
take them.
let me ask you something.
But
Hold on,
listen.
wait. No,
What?
this is we gotta be very clear on this. Fuck no. If you walk outside, you work at a nightclub, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I ain't even gonna put out there whether you carry weapons or not. But any woman that don't carry a weapon, should she just be like, is it her fault if she get raped coming from your nightclub? It's not,
Yeah.
right? So if it's not her fault that she gets raped coming out of your nightclub, it's not somebody's fault that he gets robbed coming out of a nightclub or coming out of a restaurant. All the blame is on the person that does the crime. People should not be in a situation where, because you got to remember, what, you're not allowed to drive a nice car? People talking about, you wearing a chain. Don't you know, motherfuckers, or you dropped the location. Don't you know that when you got a very nice exotic car,
Right.
that people see that parked outside? You
We
know
were-
that looks like
listen.
you know that looks like a spaceship in a hood where everybody driving regular whips and
Right.
shit like that, and a nigga drive up in a Maybach, Porsche, Ferrari. They like, yo, who the fuck is in there?
Right.
Should it be open season that when this nigga come out, we gonna rob him? Because he could have no chain on.
We would never be okay, just to elaborate on it, because you know we like family and we elaborate on shit like brothers and sisters. But like, we would never be okay, Monica, with like the Ku Klux Klan, right? Coming through the hood with their hoodies on, right? At any given point, just marching through an inner city where we all at. We know they like to hang people and shit like that, right? Lynch motherfuckers of our color, right? Things like that. So we would never be cool with that, right? But if we allow this to go where it's basically going, right? Where people are saying no, like kind of like how you said, Monica, like, no, we know we should be aware that there are these gang members in these violent areas of our own people. All we trying to say is that it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, but it is.
But we can't keep allowing it to be normal
Because
because
we're-
Monica.
because the minute we do, if we are gonna do that, Monica, then let's do it the right way and say, you know what? Like we just said, the Ku Klux Klan, if they came down our community or down any of our streets with the white hoods on, it would probably be over. We'll go crazy, start trying to pound on them and hurt them because we know that they only thing is to hurt us. So if now we feel like what you're saying is correct and this is where we are and this is what it is, then guess what? When them red bandanas or them blue bandanas or the black and gold bandanas or any bandana that think that it's okay to kill our own good people that's just minding their business
Then
with
wouldn't
a
it
good
be the
job,
same energy?
It should be the same energy because you toxic to us. You toxic to the community. You killing us.
For it to work, wouldn't we all have to collectively agree?
So hold on. So there's two things. I don't want to back off of something. Okay, you aware of where you at. Monica, one of the things that people got to realize is a gun don't stop you from getting shot. I don't give a fuck if you got a security guard with you. People that's willing to kill walk up, bang your security guard. Your security guard don't stand next to you while you eating like this, waiting for people to come in the door. So if I decide I want to rob a rapper and I'm ready to lay this nigga over this shit, I could just walk up, hit his man, bang, bang. Yo, get that up, cuz, get that up, cuz. So then if he got killed with security, then what people would say is that no matter what, the problem should, the blame should be on the person. Because then what's it gonna go to? Man, you know you can't have one security guard, you gotta have three. And if you can't have that kind of gun, you need an Uzi.
And if at this point, we can't even live our lives at this point. So now you're saying that this person needs to just stay in the house because they're successful.
I'm saying that people need to be careful because of the world we live in, and it's not perfect.
Right, but careful is what? But this the thing is, what is careful?
Careful is not letting your kids talk to strangers, not letting them out after dark because
Monica,
things happen at a higher rate.
All right, Monica, let me ask you something.
Don't go out running by yourself in the hood.
Let me ask you something. You do talk heavy live.
Yeah.
Do you put a flyer out that tells the whole world exactly where me, you, GB, and everybody's going to be at in Philadelphia, one of the craziest hoods that exists on the whole fucking planet Earth, and we telling people we going to be there from fucking 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock? Yes or no?
Yeah, I'd be scared.
Hold up. But the thing is, you still got to live your life, so you let people know this is where we're going to be at.
But I'm going to be careful. Like I'm not gonna go out in the alley by myself.
But that's the whole thing is. This the thing. You don't gotta go in the alley by yourself. Yeah. You could go with the nigga you came with. And guess what? When 3 niggas roll up on that nigga you came with like this, y'all in the same predicament.
Right.
This is what I'm saying as a person that done lived through shootouts, robberies, murder attempts, all that type of shit. It's not a cookie cutter perfect scenario. People at the end of the day gotta live their life, and it's even worse if it's you gotta go and do an appearance out in Chicago. So now it's like, yo, we got a show out there. People could say, why you ain't have this? Let me tell y'all the real truth of the business, right? Let's say your bag to come and do the appearance was $6,000 because you're a low-level person just starting out in the business, and now you traveling to this other place. So you got to travel all the way out there. You're coming out that motherfucker 3-4 deep. Where was it within this budget from a business structure for you to go and grab 3 military killers to escort you through this thing?
That's not happening.
It's not realistic. So at the same time that you could look in our chats and you could see people saying, yo, bro, come out and do a show in LA. Yo, come down to motherfucking St. Louis, man. We fuck with y'all. Come out to Detroit. But then you go out to these places and something happened and they like, why you ain't have security? Well, how much, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is the fantasy of what people think this is?
It's the same thing they did to Nipsey, right? Rest in peace. When Nipsey said he got the call, he was going to meet his mans and them who just came home from jail. He's going to his establishments that he built up in his community, trying to make it a safe environment. That's why I stayed here and built stuff to provide opportunity so we could own our own. This has always been the Black American dream, since we talk about shit like Wall Street, Black Wall Street being burned down and all those different situations where they tore down Black business owners and stuff like that and us building it back up. These always also been the dreams. So it's like we got to pick a side. Are we rebuilding our communities and living amongst one another? Or are we at war with our own people? And do we have to be careful when our own people are in the area?
And Porta,
which is it?
And Porta, I think it's not something that you could do as a gradual thing. I'm at the point where I think there needs to be like a big jump, right? So anybody that ever, I'm not a church guy or nothing like that, right? But there's been times in my life where I ended up in church for whatever reason. Sometimes it's on a Easter Sunday. It might be the girl that you dating. It could be anything. Something crazy happened and niggas is like, yo, everybody going to church. I remember getting into a big thing with a bunch of people. I made all of us go to church. The whole squad tracks. Everybody, we're going to fucking church on Sunday. Like this was like back in like 2006, 2007, right? Well, shout out to Jay Noddick. We ended up going to his church. But when you go into a church, at a certain point, usually the pastor or whatever, he'll start asking people, you know, they play this music, it's like this soft music, and they start asking people who want to give their life to Jesus or whatever, right? And it always take a while for people to make the jump. They ask it a million times. The music is going, the plate been going around with her. Right. So close their eyes so somebody can feel more comfortable. Somebody raises their hand and they'll say like, that's one hand. We got one hand up in the building. We got one hand, two hands. Come on up, brother. Come on up. This is real.
Yeah.
And as people start walking up, other people start getting the courage to be like, I'm going to get up. And by the end, it took them 3 minutes to get the first hand raised. But then within the next 2 minutes, 12 people went up there to give their life to God.
Right.
It almost needs to be one of those moments
Leap of faith.
for people to denounce the street culture. You need to make a decision like right now, right now, and say, where do I want to be in life? What do I want my community to be like? What side am I on? Am I just a person that wants to live a good life, not be in a mix of nothing, never harm nobody? I don't want to see nobody get murdered. I don't want to be a part of no murder. I don't want to aid. I don't want to hide no murder. I don't want to be a part of nothing. I want to go to my job or live my career, or, do my career, live with my wife, my kids, my family, just do beautiful things, enjoy birthday parties, trips, vacations, hug people, love people, and extend my lineage. And that's what I want to do. I want to be a add-on to the earth. What do you want out of life? What do you want out of other people? And even if you scared a little bit to denounce certain behavior, if you scared to denounce it, how about this? Just don't say nothing. Don't go in the comments calling this person a bitch, a snitch. Nigga, I thought you was a real street nigga. Oh, this nigga did this. Just stay out of all of that together, because you helping to push this this narrative and this thing that has only destroying our people.
And Dev, my thing is this, right? This again, this thing, the whole situation with PNB ROCK, we're not saying that this came from gang stuff, whatever. It's just a lot of gang conversation that came up because of where it happened. So we elaborating on that, not just over there, over here. East Coast gang stuff, the whole nine, right?
People just be plotting.
Right. But my thing is this. Like, what I kind of like wanted to ask, hold on, because I don't want to lose my train of thought, but like, how do, right? Because what I wanted to say was this could be one individual that did this, right, on his own. Just a nasty thought, nasty idea, nasty thing turned totally nasty. We lost a great person. But my thing is this. If there are people out there, right, that's cool with shit like this lifestyle, moves like this. This is a brazen move. This is someone walking in. Even some of the other things that have happened. I think Drakeo got stabbed at a concert. He was another rapper that got like stabbed to death. Pop Smoke, whatever. They shot him up, and if I just feel like, and I got to put this out there before we move on. But if we got these brazen, brave individuals, right, who I guess life may not be going the best for them, where they'll take a mission like this and be allowed to be put on a mission like this and in a mission like this, where you almost, it reminds me of a kamikaze, right? Because a kamikaze back in the day was when one was throwing their life away in these jets to bomb other people,
like a
right?
suicide mission.
Like a suicide mission as they hurt other people.
Yeah.
And I just feel like if we have these type people, right, in our little groups, organizations, in our communities, even if it's not from an organization, we just know a little guy that's willing to do whatever, right? And I'm not putting this out there to say, go do this, because I don't believe in evil really like fixing nothing where we at. But I do want to ask, how the fuck, if we got people that's willing to do this type shit, go smoke a nigga in the Roscoe's, go smoke a nigga up in his Airbnb in his apartment shit, right? Anywhere. Just do it to a motherfucker. How the fuck do PNB ROCK and people like Pop Smoke make the motherfucking menu before Zimmerman and motherfuckers like that? Motherfuckers who we really know did some foul shit, got it off, being supported by a unjust, very twisted, broken system. And we got motherfuckers that's willing to do this shit, this type shit, to our own people. Good people.
You know why? Because people know that the investigation is different.
I believe that.
I believe that. No, people know all day.
And
you know
I
how many
believe that.
people be like, man, I'm not doing that with them. You know how many people will tell you straight up, I ain't shooting that white boy.
And
You crazy. That's why you get white security, because people be like, man, I'm not waving that joint at that white boy because I know what's going to come from that. See, they going to do a light. They're going to do a light investigation.
That's
on
right,
this
bro.
joint.
That's
they
right.
Gonna but this the other part.
Talk about it, though.
This is how you get it off. It's two parts. It's going to be a real light investigation when it comes to black and brown death. And I know that we've pushed this narrative enough that I could smoke this person in front of this whole restaurant full of people. Ain't nobody going to talk because it's uncool for them to say anything. So they'll cry about it, in the crib.
And they believe, and I believe it's people out here that know and believe, like my brother is saying, that the white people and the system, the people who lawmakers, people who enforce it, will turn their cheek because it's black on black crime.
Now, where's the punishment from the culture, from the people, right? When it comes to just what we said, the torment, the tragedy that you put in these, just trauma that you put in on the child that's inside of this restaurant. The man that's in this restaurant that with his family eating and watching this. These things affect people to the point where one of the guys I saw that made a video getting into his car, the way he talked about it was so nonchalant that like this person come from this environment to the point where something he's a little bit numb to it. Because he like, man, they came up in there, man, they hit boy up. Then I was like, yo, let me get my family up out of here. We got in the car, you know what I mean? And we out. And he not even, because these things.
He don't want to be next.
But these things is chipped at us so much that we don't even really have almost a grip or understanding of what death is and what this means when people work their ass off to get out. I'm gonna just tell y'all something. So shout out to Aubrey Green, man. Shout out to Breezy. I remember years ago, it's been a lot of years now, there was something that happened in Camden, New Jersey, where a little boy that was about 5 years old got his throat cut, and a girl got hers cut, and I believe she might have been molested, whatever. And we were trying to raise money. Shout out to Wanda Mora. From Mora Salon. We were just trying to raise money to have her like a special Sweet 16 for this girl from Camden that survived this. Her brother,
I remember the situation.
Her brother tried to help her and
tried to
died.
intervene, little brother,
a baby, a literal baby. And we tried to raise this money and everything like that. And Aubrey helped out by getting I think Rob Markman from MTV to run a story to help spread the word so that this thing could take place. And when I went to Aubrey's house that day, he was excited about two artists that he was, doing some work for to promote. Like Aubrey was like a big dude doing stuff over at like Viacom or something, and he was video servicing and stuff like that. But he showed me two artists. One was Post Malone, and the other person was PNB Rock, and he told me like, this dude right here, Dev, is going to be this, that, and the third. And he starts showing me him like in the studio and stuff like that. And he talked about this guy. And then I watched this kid, he had the more of like the scruffy cut,
right.
Everything coming from the bottom, watching this kid go from that to, I think it was like a mixtape maybe with the homie from New Jersey that was doing his thing, Fetty Wap, Jones. And I remember really turning up on him on like R&B 3 and shit like that in the Jealous record or whatever, making them all jealous. And to see a person in Philadelphia go from that to where he went to, that's why it's so heavy in Philadelphia, this thing that people feel when they watching this happen. I'm talking about the next day after it happened, everybody had a weird feeling in them. Yeah. It didn't matter who I talked to, if they was from the area, people had a little weird funk on them. It was like just a thing that every person, and if you talk to them, eventually they would bring up, like, I can't believe this happened with Rock, whether they had a relationship with Rock
or not,
whether they just passed Rock and passing because, you know, him being in the local scene, or didn't know him at all. Just knew his story. So, you know, it's just tragic that people can't, you know, go anywhere. You're supposed to be earth is my turf. That's
Man,
what it's
listen,
supposed to be from a God standpoint.
I didn't
you know?
even know the man, bro. I never even had the pleasure of meeting him, to be honest. And I'm kind of like, I'm a little hurt by that with this situation. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I probably shed a tear or two even because I mean I cried when they killed George Floyd, man, in the shower. I just broke as a man trying to survive out here as a man. Cause you know, records like, you know, albums like Get Rich or Die Trying, Ready to Die, that shit was real shit, bro. Like, I understand now how people chose them titles. I understand how Biggie felt, right? Because we be trying, I know for me, I be trying hard not to turn into that. I talked recently about, you know, I reshared a AR Ab clip where AR Ab was talking about how he had to be a monster because this is what everybody else was being in his community. And he had no choice. He felt like he had no choice, or he was going to get swallowed and eaten and hurt, killed, which is what he basically meant, by the other monsters. And I relate to that. I be on edge, straddling the fence, because I'm trying to be a positive leader and role model in my community and tell the young kids, yo, it's different stuff out here except filling these cemeteries and these prisons up. But then at the same time, I got to worry about if somebody going to sell me out and say, fuck the positive shit. We on this how we going to get rich. Matter of fact, we killing that nigga. Because this how we going to get rich, and we don't give a fuck about the white people and all of that. That's a whole different battle. We battling for the 52nd Street motherfucking grapes. Or whatever the fuck it is. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this guy get it right, man. We got to try to do better, man, because we ain't going nowhere better.
Yeah, so listen, soul search, people. I mean, it could start with just how you handle yourself on the internet. I know there's a lot of people that kind of like internet bang. They don't come from that certain lifestyle. I know it's a way bigger thing when you come from it. Trust me, I'm not overlooking what it's like to grow up on one of those blocks and kind of be born into certain situations. But it's not helped when it's fueled by people on the internet just saying reckless things. Man, really, really, really be a human first. Be a human. Really think about if this was you. Think about when it was you. Sometimes I watch people not learn the lesson. It was your man that was killed 3 months ago when you was boo-hooing and crying and everything, which you should. And now that kind of wore off, and now you back on the ignorant shit online when it's somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
And stop justifying when people do what they can, because they be quick to justify like, oh, well, that happened because he was stunting in the hood, kind of like you can't do that shit like that and all that shit. But let's be honest, all that shit is owned by like a whole bunch of motherfucking people other than us. All them establishments, all the buildings. And if y'all don't look at that as stunting, but y'all rather look at a motherfucking $50,000 chain as stunting, then we got to figure it out. Because we really got the wrong motherfucking enemy when we keep pointing at each other and trying to hurt each other. A person who was just like you that actually just grinded and found a way and found his niche and came up and then came to patronize the same community and the same establishments of people that look like him.
You know what's unfortunate about all this? I feel like we're back in that era, like back in the 90s where like kids at the age of like 11, 10 years old, walking around with guns, trying to protect themselves in their neighborhoods, trying to protect, you know, not only themselves, but their family, their moms. You know what I'm saying? They walk to a corner store. They're like, man, I don't even know if I'm going to live till 13, 14. Last night, I was watching, I'm a big fan of New York Undercover, but real quick, they had an episode about this kid who lived in this neighborhood, and he went into the center and they had like a camcorder. They gave him a camcorder to kind of get out the streets to kind of like, you know, record or whatever. So he would record the neighborhood, his friends. He had kids showing guns, showing what they doing, you know, or whatever. And then in the film, he was like, you know, this is where my friend died at the age of 14. You know, it'll be a trip if I make it to the age of 14, right? He said it just like that. And it just made me think like, yo, back then in that era, like these kids was literally like, you couldn't even make it at that age. And now we living in an era where now, okay, yes, we can make it to those ages, but now we can't even become successful. It's like, damn, if I become successful,
I'm
am
not
I
gonna
even gonna
make
make
it.
it out alive?
And you wanna know what's crazy? If you talk to my mom, I remember, and you got, mind you, y'all, I never was in the streets. I just lived in the fucking jacks. I remember my mom talking about something when I'll be like 21. And I might have been like 17. And I literally had like an argument with my mom because I was like, I'm never gonna be 21. And my mom was like, what? Like, yes, you will. I was like, Mom, like 21? I don't see that happening because daily outside, even amongst like, when I got to that age, I started, befriending people that looked at me like, yo, this the good nigga out of the crew. We fuck with him. But they was in so much shit that in my mind, no matter what, at some point, something they do is going to affect me. But in my brain, it was like, I mean, it is what it is. We all live here. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I'm going to hear, when I'm gonna wake up, because I used to sleep, I never had I ain't have no bedroom. I slept in the living room, and the couch was up against where the main window in the living room was. And first thing you would hear out the window, that's how I woke up in the morning, Dev. That's like my fucking alarm clock. Open up the window, open the door, see my people's outside, you know what I'm saying? Shout out the hub. You look outside, go outside and see what was going on for the day. And it was so much activities and things that was going on that you do grow up in a mindset where you think there is no future. And as long as this is still a thing, now we fast forward 20 something years forward, and there's still a generation of people that feel like there is no other future, there is no other thing. So you out there just doing anything.
And it's crazy that it's around the same time that, like, it's crazy that energy that y'all speaking on is back and has resurfaced at around the same time that racism has came back to the front line, and the tension on racism has been just so crazy. So it's crazy that how kind of, and I'm not saying that one triggers another, but I'm just saying that we might need to take a look at it. That how, like, when racism hits the fan like that at such a high tension, that instead of us really trying to like come together more, we actually seems like we start hurting one another more.
Yo, Porter makes a great point, because I'm going to go back to something, right? When I was growing up, right? I wasn't into rap like that, but it was a record. It was called Self-Destruction. It had all the rappers on there or whatever. And I think it was Heavy D. He said, they call us animals, but whom I don't agree with them. I prove them wrong, but right is what you proving them. And when he was talking about that, it was because it was this little surge that's nowhere near where it is today. A surge of this violent type of shit going on in hip hop, and all the rappers came together and made this big We Are the World type record saying like, nah, funky fresh dressed to impress, ready to party, money in your pocket, dying to move your body. You know what I'm saying? When they was talking about you don't want to go up in this club with a razor blade taped to your collar and all of that type of stuff.
Right.
Do know that even in the rap business, Drake, he not on that type of time. He sell the most records. You don't have to do that. If us as a people say, we ain't put all of our records don't gotta be like that. It don't gotta be like that. We control the commerce and things like that really in the community. Don't get it twisted, man, and feel like it has to be that type of energy.
We need some wavy new music, man. Don't get me wrong. I know our shit always gonna come with that splash and that street splash. I get it, right? But it's only entertainment. That's why I don't be mad at it. It can come like that, right?
But why can't we get back to the hip hop where, like, back in the day with the Dougie Freshes and all them, when they used to just talk about lifestyle, they used to just talk about girls. I went to, they went to a girl house that one day and they was just kicking it. She made her dinner and he made her dinner, or whatever the case may be. They just talking about regular shit.
It was fun, and that's the thing is, Porter know how much I fucking love that fucking music. But I have gotten to a point where I had to almost do like a cleanse from the music that I really like, because I realized the spirit that's really in it. And I'm not even really talking from this supernatural type of thing. I'm talking
He was
about the
listening to
real.
that dirt.
I'm talking about the real energy. You know, I was listening to all shit. More than that, I was listening to a local nigga. I ain't even gonna say his name. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was listening to a local nigga.
But the good thing about you though, bro, is that you're a prime example of we can listen to that and it doesn't have to come out in your lifestyle because your lifestyle totally different. And when you speak against what you properly supposed to speak against.
But I want to be clear that it was like Kyrie Terrell that came on our show one time said, you know, he was arguing with his homie or whatever, like about something, and his homie said, everybody ain't you.
Yeah.
Right.
So if I know most people are influenced by the music,
Impressionable.
impressionable by it, then we got to deal with the reality of it. And the reality is, if my son grew up with that and then he get into a fight at the mall and next thing you know, he calling the niggas the ops. I need to nip it in the bud right now. Hold on, nigga. You ain't got no ops. That was some niggas you got into a fight with in the food court.
Right.
And we about to nip it at that.
Right.
You not about to turn this into some
More
fake
than what it
Chicago
is.
something. And all it take is a burner for this whole thing to get out of hand.
Right.
So we gotta check some of those things, man. You know, like I said, man, rest in peace to PNB Rock, man.
Rest in
You
peace,
know,
man.
we want to go out on our own traditions and things. We're gonna get into some was hot, now is not. Get things more a little more upbeat. But for real, man, please, everybody out there, start thinking about what your values is. What are your real values?
And even if you out here and you one of the thugs, the guys, you got it, and it's fucked up for you, man. You got this 38 or this 380 in your stash, and these evil thoughts keep hitting you, bro. Like, please, man. Please, let's find a better way. I don't even want you to go do nothing to nobody white or none of that. That's not what I'm saying here. I just be trying to ask, like, how do we turn around and just keep hurting our own like this, man?
Turn around when you stop worshiping.
Come on, man.
When you stop worshiping silly, destructive rules. I got the answer. It's not really hard to understand. People have to abandon street culture that has to do with the killing of black and brown people, period, point blank. That's it. It's no other way around it. You can't kind of have it, kind of not have it. You can't just accept, oh, it's always going to be there. Well, then, all right, cool. Guess what niggas is going to do? Niggas is going to try to move away and play their cards over here. Because it's like, you know what? I could move out to the suburbs and something might happen to me. Right. But guess what? The chances is a little bit lower.
If it's gangs in your community called the Gremlins and the Spiders, and the Gremlins and the Spiders is operating just like the Ku Klux Klan, they killed Jamal, they killed Felicia with an accident bullet, they killed Tito down the street when they tried to rob him. Like, eventually, guess what? We got to start treating them the same way.
Man, I saw a video of somebody spraying up a car crazy with a whole baby in there.
That's wild.
I'm talking about HD clarity, walking up on the joint, baby right there in the passenger seat. What we talking about? This is the shit that's going on, and people like, I mean, it is what it is, it's the streets. Nah, I'm not trying to hear none of that, man. Let's get into, you already know when it comes to the was hot. Now it's not. It's when we talk about something that was popping at one point, and now it's just it just ain't that work no more. You know what I'm saying? Porta Rich, do you got a was hot now is not?
I do.
What you got?
I do. I got a good one.
You say it's good. Let's see what the people think, or if it's one that he said already, right, Wally?
Right.
I don't think I said this one before. I don't think I said before.
Fingers crossed.
This was.
Just say what it is.
Say what it is.
Say the word. Say the word. Say the word.
I know it was hot. I just don't know if it was hot to everybody. Right. But I had a run with it. I had an experience with it. I got a story to go with it too.
Oh my God, spit it out.
I know. No, I ain't gonna be long with my. I'm listening to the people. My story's gonna get shorter.
He's learning, y'all. He's learning. Go
All right, let's go.
My hot was not is sex hotlines. Y'all remember how many commercials? Y'all remember how many commercials used to come on TV like dial 1-800 hot babe.
They'd be like, hey babe,
sexy chick,
hey
and we'll
babe.
talk all night, right? So I'm not, again, that's why I said I don't know how many people it was hot to, because I believe that it was hot.
It was big.
Why you
I wasn't trying it. I just used to kind of like see the commercial and be like, whoa, that's
Man,
kind
you
of
was
freaky.
dialing in.
No. But when I got to jail, in 96, I was in a program called Campus.
I'm crying.
They had a phone that we used to sneak to that you can call motherfucking North motherfucking Hawaii. And that motherfucker going through. It was like super like long distance phone. And once the residents found out, it was on and popping. So the first thing we started calling, sex hotlines. They was popping. They was hot. Everybody like, yo, nah, call the live joints. They be live. Once we got the number, and mind you, I'm like a leader there. I'm supposed to be getting them in trouble for doing this. They put me onto this. I said, you sure they picking up? He said,
You sure they picking up? You sure they home?
They said, Porta, they pick it up. I said, oh, man, somebody look me out. The leader got to go. I got on that phone and was like,
what you got on?
She was like, I'm hot. Who is this?
This the crazy part, real quick. These women usually 350 pounds on the other line with the best voices ever.
Yeah. And I'm thinking she's hot. In my eyes, my imagination, she's smoking. So she over there like, yeah, what would you do to me if you find me nude and laying with my boobs oiled? And I'm like, and you know, we little hoodies. I'm like, I'm wrecking that shit. They probably out there like, these kids is wilding. We was kids on the shit. But keep it real. Y'all used to see all the commercials.
No, yeah, they'd be like, hey, babe, you ready for a great time? Do you like long walks on the beach?
Yeah. I ain't gonna hold you,
well, you can dial in at 1-800.
Yo, you got the
girl.
voice.
Yo.
She's Chelsea's sister. She's
Chelsea's
sister.
If that was popping, you'd probably be a supervisor.
No. Yo,
if they still hiring, put me on the line.
Yo, this the crazy part. It's the crazy part. Back then, he brought up that's a great was
I
hot.
told you I had a
Because
good
this the
one.
crazy part. They had it for everything. Little kids used to get in trouble. I remember my cousin, I think Bear, got in trouble for calling Santa Claus. They used to have Santa Claus used to be on there like, ho, kids, call the phone. Smurfs had a hotline. I remember begging my mom to call the X-Men hotline. Like, this is no bullshit. And the fucking bill was crazy because the shit be like $2, $3 a minute. But we talking about like 80s and 90s type shit. But what's crazier is, this gonna be a topic on another whole different thing. It's so much resurgence of like inappropriate things, right? That took place, and we're gonna have a whole episode where we talk about this type of shit. When it comes to like the ages of people dating, like old people dating teenagers and all this kind of crazy shit. And I promise you that in the 80s, 90s, obviously 70s and 60s, this wasn't actually some like normal practice. A lot of people be acting like shit wasn't what it was, because on them commercials he talking about, you know what the commercials used to be? 1-800 we are 18. I just turned 18 yesterday.
Oh
You want to
my
go?
God.
Yo,
No,
tell
we
me.
are 18
Yo,
was
I
one.
swear to God.
Yeah.
And these wasn't phone calls for 18-year-old or 17-year-old boys to call. You ain't even had your own phones and cribs and shit.
Right.
This
I forgot.
this was for grown men to call, and it was so normal that it was on a regular TV in between watching something
So
like Laverne and Shirley.
It was like a late night though.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you
So
watch-
they was either lying about, like Dev said, they was probably big 40-year-olds on the other end of that phone, or they was throwing those young fresh fish right on the menu.
But
Right.
regardless,
But
the
the fact of it
fantasy
is that you're calling to talk to an 18-year-old.
Yeah, the whole thing
Right.
was, and my point was just that a lot of times people will look back at stuff that happened and be like, oh, people was doing this, and then be like, yo, to keep it real, everyone from that era was on that time, because that shit was on regular. I'm talking about on major TV channels.
Right. No,
That
heavy.
shit was just on TV as a normal thing.
Heavy.
You know what I'm saying? Normal as fuck. Even all that shit, like, remember that came out later, the fucking DVD. What was the DVD when it got into the DVD era and people could order a DVD with these girls going wild?
Oh,
And
Girls
it's come
go-
on MTV, right?
Yeah.
Everything. It was
Oh
all
my
these
gosh.
commercials
Yeah,
late at night.
yeah.
It was like an infomercial.
Yeah.
Girls going wild. Jones just turned 18 years old. They have
Showing
a
it.
Red
they
and
have-
yellow
they used to
flashing
pull their
lights.
titties
Yeah.
out.
Remember the crazy lawsuit. They got a documentary documentary about that nigga.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Girls Gone Wild was crazy.
I was
Yo,
like,
I remember that too, but I was mad young, and I remember just watching TV, seeing the yellow and red flashing lights, the girls jumping up and down, smiling, like they having the best time of their life, and I'm young. So that's crazy.
I was young. When I used to see that commercial, that was my excuse for the girls around my way, like to
Right.
turn up. Like, because
I'm
look,
crying.
everybody's turning up. Girls
This
Gone
was
Wild. Y'all gotta
definitely
get wild.
millennium
yo,
era.
yo, this is the crazy
Like
part.
2000.
This right here just made me change my was hot. Now
What
it's
is it?
not.
Wait, what was
I'm-
your old
no,
one so I can
no,
use it?
I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna change it because of where this is, and we talk about these cultural.
Let's
shifts.
do it.
Staying on topic with this, there was a big era in the early 2000s and shit like that with like mixed age nightclubs. It would be like
18 to enter, 21 to drink.
Uh-huh.
and
Home
it-
nightclub was my
it was
shit
big.
every Friday.
So you would have
They had
all
shampoo.
So you would have all senior girls from high school was in the club popping on a Thursday or
That's
whatever.
nasty.
This was the
Nah, but
rec-
that was the shit,
So
though.
but this is the
Yo.
thing. You heard how she just said it was nasty.
Because
But hold no, but
Girl,
no,
you
I get
tripping.
it. No, I get it. No, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is people gotta be. We try to keep it real on this show. You gotta know where the culture was at different points and how everything evolved over time.
Right.
There was a time period where that was the most popping thing for years.
Yep.
It was because the clubs was able to make the most money and everything like that because they would fill the club, but they couldn't make liquor money because anybody that wasn't 21 couldn't
Can
drink.
drink.
They weren't
But
buying.
the actual dance floor where everybody
Packed.
just met up with each other,
Packed.
that was the common area. The bar, only people 21 and over could go to. But you got people that's whatever club age, 21 all the way to 30 something, whatever is in that bar part. But if you go to dance, you're on the floor.
You're in
now,
the swimming pool of
now,
mixed ages.
Mixed ages, right? So peep, in this time period, people
good
really
time.
danced. People really danced. So you didn't walk up to girls and be like, "Hey, how old are you? You want to dance?"
No,
People-
they was throwing that
You
thing
just go
back.
behind
You
the
people
you
just
just got a Wally from Wally.
Yo, so you just
Wally.
went up on something, you got a Wally and whatever, and
You
we
gotta
talking
look back like, oh, he all right, let's do this.
right. So
The
it
lights
was,
come
You're
on, you're
right,
like,
he's
oh.
45 years old.
So it was definitely some 45-year-old niggas. I probably average age niggas 21 to 30.
30,
They
yeah.
was in there and they were all in the same social environment, chilling, eating afterwards, and all of that type of shit. And them Jones was 18 years old. Because if you go back to the time Porta talking about them phone calls was before that.
I remember.
And then they came to the mixed age club time. And then as the culture shifted and changed, you saw that dissipate. But that was a real
But even
big
the
thing.
party lines though, like the loop and all that, like that used to be the shit. I used to be on the loop all the time. Let me
Yo,
tell you
That's how the
Go
low
ahead.
head.
Back in the
Go,
day.
this another one. This another one. Go
But
ahead.
like the loop was like a party line. So like yes, back then you had sex lines and all that, but the party line was like you literally would have an intro, right? And they'd be like, okay, I'm Green Eyes Angelica. Like, you know, but it'll be like music in the background. It's like a whole thing. And then you can like communicate with other people on the phone, on the hotline.
And so tell them it's basically the primitive version of Clubhouse. Go ahead.
Yes,
Yeah, go
yes,
ahead.
but it wasn't like people too far. It was only like that number
Yeah.
was specifically for this tri-state area.
Yeah, mhm.
So it wouldn't go like to Miami or something
Yeah.
like
What was
that.
that
called?
Unless you
Local.
had that.
What was
it
that
called?
called?
The Loop. So you would go
How
on
did
there.
how did I end up out the loop?
You was probably in jail or something.
Yeah.
You were literally on the hotline. You
Got
were literally
it.
on a party line. You would meet up like, yo, I used to meet up with people at the Pensacola Mart. I used to be like, yo, we going to the Pensacola Mart, da-da-da-da. You go meet up. There was a lot of women catfishing niggas back
Yeah,
then.
you could
Yeah.
close people out the room too. It was ways where you could like kick people out on
People-
some of them
yeah,
joints. And then it'd be just you and another person on there. And a lot of people, like my homies, would be like, yo, bro, roll with me to this diner. I gotta go up here and meet this joint. I want to peel out on her if she, yeah, I
Yo,
mean,
because these women, like, I ain't gonna hold you. There was like girls singing on it in the beginning, like singing these songs in their intros or whatever. I mean, there's women that you're basically kind of going on there, going off of like what a person sound like. Like a guy can sound so handsome. There was this one guy. I'm gonna tell y'all really quick. There was this one guy. I found out that he was actually disabled. He was on disability in a wheelchair. And long story short, I guess a couple women were like talking to him at the time, and we found out that he was like in a hospital in a wheelchair.
Oh, but he was on there talking about, yo,
He was talking crazy.
he said I
wanna
run a
meet you, but I
triathlon.
can't. I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm this. It was wild. I was like, come on, bro.
Wally
At this
funny.
point.
Wally-
But back in the day, shout out to my best friend at the time, Belinda. We used to meet all the dudes at Pensacola Mart.
Hold on, what
know.
Belinda? Black Belinda, skinny Belinda? Yo,
No, you talking about Belinda?
Oh, yo, chill. Everybody
but
everybody about to be out in other people and shit.
Belinda, Puerto Rican Belinda from
Oh, okay.
Oh, shout out to
Hill.
her.
That
She
was
gonna
my
say,
girl.
Porter, you was in jail somewhere. You right, we was on the fax machine. We ran that. Yo, just so y'all know, shout out to all the young guys I was in that joint with. We ended up in a house meeting over that because the bill came back to like 15 grand.
Oh
Yeah,
my
'cause you're
God.
dumbass.
We ran
The
that
leader.
shit.
Horny ass niggas.
Nah, we was definitely trying to like hear them Jones.
Yo, listen, man.
Shout out to the party line.
Back
yo.
in the day
miss
was a
that era,
different
though.
time. So that's the thing too. I miss that era. Even though things that are inappropriate now was appropriate or accepted then, it was a lot of different things about the time period, and that's going to happen in our culture shift in 20 years. And as time goes on too, the shifts will be faster. So it's like, if you look at the world from 1600 to 1700, it looks more the same than the world looks from 1980 to 2000.
2000.
Yeah, like just that, because how things advance, and it's the same thing with culture.
Correct.
But we got the wheel out, we still gonna go out, have some fun, try to enjoy our lives and things like that, man. You know what I'm saying?
Prayers to Philly though. Prayers
course,
to Philly
of course,
and prayers
of course,
to PNB
of
Rock,
Praise
his
to
family,
PNB Rock family, his girl, his
everybody,
kids, his daughter.
everybody.
You know what I'm
Shout out
saying?
to them, man.
You know what I'm saying? But man, we ready to do this. Let's get a spin. Let's get a spin. Let's get a spin. What is it?
Twerk break!
Yo, Porter. Porter, get over there, Porter.
Let's go, now big money. I know we already hear about the Devinwade deal.
Now he want to close out. I'm just doing $3 at a time. $3 at a time.
Yo, Wally, be the camera woman. Wally, go ahead, get him. Go ahead, Wally, get him, Wally. Get him, Wally. Listen, we got Wally as the camera girl right now, you know what I'm saying? Because Els ain't in the building, you know what I'm saying? But listen, man, we appreciate everybody for tuning in, man, every week, man. Yo, you already know how we feel, man. All love to Philly, the tri-state, all love to the world, man, you know what I'm saying? Yo, Wally the cheek master, you know what I'm saying? Yo, we gonna see y'all. We out of here, y'all.